The president says California is in play, and there are a number of Republicans running for Congress who agree. Joining me now is tech entrepreneur, San Diego native, and Republican candidate in California's 52nd district, Mr. Jim DeBello. Jim, thanks for being here.
Nice to be here, Patrick.
All right, we have a lot to get to in just a short amount of time, but as I have you here, I want to hear what's the latest with the campaign. You're out on the streets, you're in that bus. Tell us, you're taking on the Democrat Scott Peters. Tell us what the latest is.
Well, I sure am in the 52nd district, which is really representing over half of San Diego County's economic development. It's home to our Pacific Fleet. It's home to great telecom companies like Qualcomm and also life science innovators and biotech companies. So I take my DeBello bus and we drive it all through this district, and that's how I meet our constituents, and I have them tell me what they're thinking about. And number one is homelessness. But it was a great segue when you open this moment about California, our electrical blackouts, the things that we have going on here. We're the laboratory of the left. We just can't have that go to Washington. And that's what my opponent, Scott Peters, represents.
And forest fires as well. But you mentioned homelessness. California does have 25% of the homeless population for the entire country. Yeah. And when people think of San Diego, they think of sun and beaches and swaying palm trees. But it's not necessarily always the case. Why do you feel Southern California can't figure out, and your district specifically, can't figure out the homelessness problem?
Well, this problem has gotten worse over the last 8 years. So San Diego has attracted homeless populations from around the country for decades, and it's got to stop. I had a company downtown, and you had to step over excrement, needles, people doing drugs on the street. It's just not right. It's not right for the people and the citizens. It's not right for the homeless. They need a helping hand, not a handout. So 25% is right, but what you don't know is that we have the second largest veterans homeless population in the nation. And that's inexcusable, particularly being a military town like we are. So we need to enact policies that rebuild our infrastructure for medical care, specifically mental health and drug rehabilitation. But those programs have to be mandated. We can't just let it go helter-skelter as it is right now.
Your thought on this idea that the governor says that everyone should put their mask back on in a restaurant in between bites while eating. What does that symbolize to you? What is your reaction?
Well, in my opinion, it's crazy, all right? Again, for the nation, we're always looked to be not only the laboratory of the left, but Fantasyland. I just say there's two Fantasylands in California, one at Disneyland and one in Sacramento. Economic recovery is everything. As we exit COVID, now COVID will be with us, but we need to deal with it, but we need to rebuild our economy. The deficit is not the root. The root is through open economy. The deficit right now almost equals our exit deficit after World War II. Over $20 trillion, and yet Nancy Pelosi and her team want more, trillions more, into the recovery programs. I say we need some additional work, but honestly, let the people get back to work. So I look at this as a real problem for America is this deficit spending. And Joe Biden is very clear, and Kamala Harris is very clear, they're going to raise taxes. There's no question. And Vice President Pence did a terrific job a couple of nights ago when he exposed that. They're going to raise taxes on everybody, although they say they won't, but it will affect everybody. They'll start with corporations, it'll move to the middle class, and we're going to see extraordinary tax burdens on people. It'll stall the economic recovery.
All right, finally, Jim, we've got your website up on the screen here.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers how they can get involved. We're just over 3 weeks out from election.
3 weeks out, and we're going hard, and it's looking very good. Please go to my website, DeBelloCongress.com, or even more directly, donatetojim.com. It's important that we win back the House. To win back the House, keep the Senate, and of course, keep the White House. I need your help. We all do out here. We're putting additional ads and digital marketing to work, and we're having great success. So I'm also very appealing to a lot of moderates, independents, and Democrats for DeBello. So I have a message, I think, that speaks to a broad base. It talks about economic recovery. It talks about dealing with COVID, which I've done professionally when I lived in China and kept companies open and running. And it talks about my innovation and track record when I invented a product, mobile check deposit, which is used by 80 million Americans. So I'm bringing the skills for the 21st century. It's a winning combination, and I hope I have the people's support, not just here in the 52nd district, but around the country.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.